Where the heck am I? What the heck am I wearing? You know, this all seems so familiar, yet I can't quite put my finger on it. What's this? Oh God. I think I'm starting to remember.
Manor of Amnesia, my home of memories that can either be remembered or forgotten.
Now, I truly don't get the reason for such a long subtitle. It's unneeded, and it's so darn small on the logo that you need a pair of eyeglasses to figure the thing out.
Okay, now that we know what it is, where did it come from? Well, Manor of Amnesia is a free-to-play visual novel that was released on March 7th, 2015 and was produced by Akimi Hiro Works.
Yeah, Akimi Hiro Works, whose first visual novel called Toki Doki Youth is probably what gave me amnesia in the first place!
What I assume are free-to-use stock photos and such provide the background, and unfortunately, they look like they were corrupted in the process, as pixelation is prevalent throughout several of them. I think this could have done with some quality control to avoid the problem.
You know, in my suggestion, if you're going to use real-life photographs for the background of your visual novel, take what Kanawa Shoujo developers did as an example. Have the photographs taken in high definition for your project. I can understand if you're not able to do that, but if you can at all means, try doing that. They took nice high definition photographs and then put them into Photoshop, created some nice layers to them that when put in the background with their sprite designs in the front, it really made the art come to life and transition smoothly from sprite to background.
As far as the characters go, your point of view is through the eyes of Ken, the male protagonist, who wakes up to find he has no recollection of anything after starting university.
Well, okay, judging by the name, I assumed somebody was going to have amnesia, and by the subtitle, it either implies we're going to go down a path where we're going to try to gain our memories back, or we're just going to say, screw it, that's it, I'm just going to live in a sea of ignorance. I vote for the latter.
Speaking of, let's take a look at the female protagonist, going by the name of Shiori the Albino. Okay, fine, it's just Shiori, but sticking to the theme of subtitles, Shiori the Albino just sort of fits the bill. She introduces herself as your wife, followed by Riano... I'm gonna call you Steve. Introducing Steve the Butler, everybody, who from what I can tell has permanently glued his right arm to his chest.
Put her there, Steve. And here I thought we could be friends.
So once the introductions are out of the way, you find out that you actually purchased this mansion for you and Shiori to live together as the happy little couple that you are. Now, this could be something as cute as the relationships in Clannad, where the story has comedy, lighthearted moments, tragedy, and umpteen feels. That is until you realize...
Remind you of the sight of my body, indulging in pleasure.
Well, I guess I know where this thing's going. Hello?
That's right, this is one of those novels. I mean, if 50 Shades of Grey can become so popular and important that it warrants a multi-million-dollar movie, then why can't a low-budget group produce a free-to-read interactive hentai? And like any dubbed hentai, the dialogue really falls short during the H scenes.
Now, I was walking past that mansion on the top of the hill the other day, and I could have swore I heard somebody yelling to put pig milk into a honey pot. What's that supposed to mean? Well, I guess that poo really... porked her. My point exactly.
The illustrations by Ball Anime are by no means something that I would expect out of a professional title, but much like a Picasso, it has its own je ne sais quoi, so to speak. The sprites are average, but considering the genre, the main focus is supposed to be drawn onto the H scenes, and I'll tell you what, I just cannot bring myself to show them to you.
It's not because they're bad or because they're drastically perverted, but because if you see these images, they will be burned so far into your retinas that when you try to go to sleep for the next week, you will see nothing but those images playing as a slideshow on your freaking eyelids!
What about the choices you have to make? I mean, I really wouldn't consider it a proper interactive story without at least two choices that would affect the ending. Well, guess my wish was granted. There are only two choices that have any weight on how this story ends. I mean, they have a whole bunch of fluffy ones, especially in the H scenes, but come on, only 2 choices that have any sort of weight on how the story ends? I get it, it's short, but 2 choices, really? Okay, fine by me. So let's see. I can either choose the romance or the detective novel in this one. Well, considering I have amnesia and probably like to restore my memories, then there's only one logical conclusion. Next choice is also just as simple. Do I want my memories back, or simply don't question it and live happily ever after with the personification of lust?
Well, I guess I'm stumped.
You're going to pick to be together with me forever, right?
Okay, I'm fine. Just one moment. Die, you!
Okay, to be fair, in no way do I think a straightforward choice isn't welcomed, but when you only have 2 points that affect the story, I think you need to keep a mystery around them so you still leave the reader guessing. I don't mean it has to be anything cryptic, I just thought it was too linear. Detective novel matches up with I Want My Memory Back. Romance novel matches up with Live with Shiori Forever. Pretty straightforward in the end.
Pekonam trading cards.
Piconam! Piconam!
Yeah, you don't remember Pekonam?
Where have I heard something like that before? You know, maybe this is a really good mystery. It's a good thing I picked up that detective book out of the mansion library now. Let's go ahead and see what we have to see here. Here's a good one. When you are puzzled about something, try looking at it from a different perspective. Huh. Okay. Well, how about this? Let's change the name around, see what we can find. How about, Munkopi? No? Okay. How about, Kopenam? No? Not that either? Okay. It's gotta be Moko Pen. That's it. Completely it. Okay, fine. Why don't you guys try figuring it out while I go ahead and play a little good old-fashioned Pokemon Red right now?
Okay, so it's not that creative, but it does raise a very important psychological question about how we've grown up. From collecting cards with cute animals on them, to reading and watching the act of 2D characters having uncontrolled and unrestricted sex.
You know, for a free Nukigi-style VN, I have to say, it's really not that bad.
The original soundtrack, produced by Qualita, was alright for the most part because it felt like something I would hear in your typical short story considering there were only a few tracks. But with those few tracks, they were able to convey enough meaning to get the point across for many of the scenes.
What do you mean? Please, tell me what's bothering you.
Voice acting is something that is rare in a novel not originating from Japan. In this case, I feel as though it was essential to have this included. But the recording sound quality, especially in the case of Shiori, definitely was more wanting. Perhaps the equipment was to blame, but I still hope some time would have been put into editing those recordings to try to make it sound as crystal clear as possible. WZ Coitus, who, well, has a very appropriate name for this title, plays the butler who serves as the secondary character, helping to direct the plot, and gave the impression of someone who has grown up in a sophisticated society. It was FKO's performance as Shiori that I must honestly give amazing props to. For someone to record the type of dialogue needed for this H-heavy, and I do mean H-heavy novel that is free to download, either you have to be really confident in yourself, or you simply get off to it.
Yes, of course.
I'm not judging.
What is that familiar sound? It just keeps popping up everywhere. It's on the tip of my tongue. I've got this. Don't give me any hints. I've heard it in my childhood before. Yes. Aha! I've got it. Oh, but why would I tell you when I can simply show you? Don't you just love Jell-O?
Currently, there is another VN under development by the same group called The Mask of Our Hearts, in which that immoral desire floods our psyche. Honestly, what is up with them in subtitles? It features FKO taking back up the mantle of another lewd heroine, and if her performance was anything to go by for Manor of Amnesia, I'll be expecting a lot more of...
Let's see just how good I can make you feel.
My final thoughts can be summed up in 3 words. Ignorance is bliss. Do I recommend this title? Well, it depends on the kind of person you are. If you want something with a great story and complicated interactions that affect the scenes long down the line, then I would probably have to say no in this case. If you're all about the H content and want your VN to function more like a hentai, where the story comes in last to the fapping material, then by all means continue on and download.
You know what else I'm starting to remember? Something from my life. Something that made me want to don on this sweater vest and look at a computer screen for hours and days. That's right. It was a novel. A visual novel of epic proportions, with a story that was such the heart and soul of what this media could accomplish, settling one of the greatest debates of all time, greater than politics, religion, dubbed versus subbed. I'm talking about...
I'd like to thank you guys once again for tuning into another episode of the VN Critic. I know this one's been a long time coming, and I actually kind of poked fun at the beginning of it with having amnesia. That wasn't originally written into the script, so I kind of created that off the shock of not uploading in a while. But other than that, the new episodes will be coming out on a little bit more of a consistent pace. Maybe not every week, but every bi-weekly I should have a new episode coming up. Other than that, I will be uploading more sort of blog topics and a whole bunch of other minor things that aren't official episodes. So feel free to tune into those. Otherwise, if you look to my right, you're able to see a visual novel set that I reviewed, Lightning Warrior 81 and 2. So feel free to click on that for the time being. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and just tune in next time for the next Visual Novel Critic episode.